Hey, we're Gail and Jamie from the band Laurel-O-Matic, and this is our podcast, A Different Road.
On this episode, we're talking about our song, I Do.
Today, we're talking about the first song we released, I Do. We released it in July of 2020, so if you haven't checked it out, it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming places. We also have a music video for it on YouTube that we filmed last summer in Asbury Park. So if you're missing the beach right about now, that's a good one to check out, or summertime. And last week we actually released a lyric video for it, so we're just taking some time to kind of revisit it and share a little bit more information with you about how the song came to be. And Jamie wrote the lyrics and the melody, so he's going to share it with us how that happened.
So there's two storylines in I Do. The verse holds one and the chorus holds the other. The verse tells a story of like hopes and dreams, right? Kind of tells how it starts off with talking about confetti, which is actually a real story.
Yeah.
We've collected confetti over the years.
Yeah, we definitely like to keep like scraps of things from cool things we've done or places we've traveled to. So yeah, we have confetti from New Year's Eve that we've spent a couple of times in Times Square, and confetti from when we saw Panic at the Disco in the summer of 2019 at Firefly Music Festival.
Yeah, so it's kind of a true story. We do have the confetti. In fact, I do have a piece in my wallet at all times.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like a nice reminder of some really solid times that we've had and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so that's what the lyric Zip Blocks of Confetti is referencing.
Yeah, and they're actually stored in a closet. So it's actually true. And so like it's about what confetti kind of like does, right? It's like this beautiful, especially in these two cases where it's just like launched out into the air. It's such celebrating times. Like it's just like a really good feeling. So, it's about capturing that feeling and holding it with you and carrying it with you and kind of keeping that as your like goal or your mindset as you move through. So the verse really tells the story of that. And the first, it's about collecting it.
Both times that, Times Square, New Year's Eve, and the Panic at the Disco concert, it just it exploded and just rained down on us. It was such a cool moment that I think we'll both times that we'll probably both remember for the rest of our lives, and such like a satisfying, fulfilling moment to experience these two really amazing things.
Yeah, and the story continues in the verse where it ends up that you're with your friends, right? And you're releasing this confetti again. So it's kind of like a timeline of like how you carry something with you that just keeps you driving until you're ready to be like, okay, I did it. I'm releasing it now, and who knows who catches the confetti next or whatever it symbolizes after that. And then the chorus, of course, tells a story of like commitment, right? It starts with I do, and it uses the repetitive device in I know, but it's like really about a wedding, right? I do, making a commitment to a significant other, and making a commitment in this case to hopes and dreams about what you want to get done in your life. So I love that the chorus kind of comes in the beginning and like releases you from this story of like, why are you collecting? What's going on? And then and then as the song goes, the more that the chorus comes about, you have a little bit more of the story. And it's just like, I don't know, I wrote it in two different pieces on two different days, but it just seemed to come together really well to tell the kind of complete story on that.
Yeah. And there's a slow version and a fast version of it as well. So I don't know if you want to talk about how... So we ended up going with releasing the faster version, but the slow version is really amazing too. Yeah,
I started out with the slow version, and it had more lyrics, more verses.
Right.
Had a line in the chorus, our love is forever like the sun and the sea. And I love that line, so.
We're very inspired by the beach and the ocean. It's one of our favorite places.
Yeah, maybe you'll hear it in another song in a future release.
Definitely will be a recurring theme throughout things that we release.
Yeah, and the slower version's like much more private, much more intimate. And I remember creating it, and it just kind of like, it has a nice pace to it, and it's I don't know, it feels like a very romantic piece. And then I was just messing around with it, and I was like, somehow we were like, let's make this faster.
Right.
So I just took the melody. It started out with just electric guitar. So if you're listening to the song, you hear the electric guitar playing around on the C chord at the beginning. It starts out with that. And so I just placed that on a new track at a little bit of faster pace. And I just had left it at that. And I just kind of was like, okay, that's faster. Great. Done, right?
Yeah.
But there seemed to be something missing. And it's a pretty simple 1-4-5, right? C, F, C, and then G. And so I added the acoustic guitar that just kind of like chugs along at a good rhythm, right? And it kind of keeps it moving as a filler to figure out, okay, what do I want? What kind of sound do I want? I put drum samples in there to see kind of how I wanted to develop it that way. And then slowly but surely, the acoustic guitar just fit. It just just sounded great in that space, especially with the electric guitar solo that's like slow and steady, very melodic rather than trying to cram so much in. It has life, it has room for the notes to kind of ring out. So musically, it just came together that way. First as a slow song, and then it's like, okay, I wanted it to reflect more of the celebration of the song and the lyrics, and like, you know, the celebration of a wedding, the celebration, you know, later in life as an anniversary, the celebration of, you know, setting goals. I wanted kind of the song to represent that and the music to reflect that as well.
Right.
So that's kind of how that developed.
Yeah, and then so just to backtrack a little bit, you know, Jamie's been writing so much music over the last many years, really, and it's a little bit newer to me. So when we decided to start releasing some things, I was listening through what he already had, and you know, kind of picking out my favorites, and I immediately fell in love with this one, and we went from there. But I added the keyboard part, but you know, didn't want anything too you know, overly complicated because it's such a beautiful song as it is. So yeah, I just kind of took the chords that, you know, he obviously built it off of, and really just am kind of holding them down, working my way through them in the verse and adding a little motion to them in the chorus, but nothing too fancy, just so we keep the focus on the lyrics and the melody. And then I just come in with some vocal harmony on the chorus as well, and that's about how it all came together. And I think we chose it as our first release because it does have this celebratory feel to it, and thinking of the confetti and being our first release, that was something worth celebrating.
Yeah. So the music video came after all of that. I think it was a no-brainer about. It's just like it was like an obvious choice. Had to include the beach, us traveling, of course, Riley, our dog.
Who's on my lap. That's why Jamie's pointing down this way.
Yeah.
Because he's such a big part of our lives too.
Yeah, and it was just like, let's put together a music video that just shows us going to the beach. It's something that we do a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a real beach day for us. We didn't just go for the sake of filming. We got up at, I think, like 4 a.m.
Yep.
So Jamie could surf, so we went down, and so I was filming on the drive down, and while Jamie was surfing, and then once he was done surfing, we both kind of, we got something to eat, and we both kind of filmed some bits and pieces along the way, sat on the jetty and watched the water for a while, played with Riley, so it was a real beach day for us. It wasn't, you know, just made up for the sake of this video. It's really how we spend our time when we go to Asbury, so...
Yeah,
it was a fun day.
And to put the filter on, I wanted to put an older style filter on it, not to hide any lower quality video shots, but more to reflect kind of the reminiscing that you get from seeing old time photos or videos and the memories that come with that. Right. I kind of wanted to, you know, we both decided on the idea of using this filter was like, oh, that looks great like that. Yeah, I think it came to both of us independently that we wanted this kind of older filter on it. And I don't know, for some reason it just felt right. It felt like that's what it needed. Yeah, so the video is on our YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. Yeah, check it out. Like we said, we have a lyric video there too. And we have one more I Do related video coming out hopefully next Friday. So stay tuned for that. Well, thanks for listening to episode 2 of A Different Road. We really appreciate you hanging out with us.
We'll have more episodes soon. And in the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram, or Laurel and Matic, and is spelled out, of course, and on Facebook, Laurel and Matic with the and sign. We have videos on YouTube, and we have lots of music on Spotify, Apple Music, and of course, this podcast is available on Spotify and Anchor. And we'll see you soon.